All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Stefan Wiedner. I'm the co-founder of Noomii.com. Thank you all for joining today, carving time out of your precious days to attend today's call and gain a little bit of information. I'm really excited to have Lisa Hanold on as our guest speaker. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Hanold, is that right?
That's the very German way to pronounce it. Yes, it's Hanold in the United States. In Germany, it's more like Honold.
Honold. Okay.
Yes.
I have European ancestry, so I'll blame it on that.
Right.
So the topic is how to create a group coaching program for your ideal clients. And Lisa's been chipping away, working at this for over 3 years now. And she brings a really interesting background to coaching. So formerly an accountant, I believe. And you have logged in. Oh, okay. Sorry. Just getting confused here with some technology. And so Lisa, from what I know, some coaches like to just jump in with both feet. They just, I'm doing this, boom, jump in. And Lisa's not quite like that. She seems very calculated, very calm, persistent, determined, patient. Patient is probably the key word. And so she's done some really amazing work in the last 3 years. She'll share a lot of that information with you here today. So, and of course, it's all about group coaching. And I think it's all relevant to you as coaches. So many of us want to start group coaching programs. I think it's a great opportunity. Only so many people are going to pay for coaching one-on-one. And in addition to being able to offer group coaching for smaller fees, I believe there's a lot of upsides to having a group as opposed to one-on-one. So, and I'm sure Lisa's going to talk all about that. And so take it away, Lisa. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stefan. I am thrilled to be here to talk about group coaching and why I believe all of us coaches should have some kind of group coaching program. And it'll be based on your ideal clients. I will tell my story, but know that you can translate it into your own story. So again, I'm Lisa Hanold. I am founder of Celebrate You Academy, a movement that empowers women to celebrate themselves. My mission today is to empower you as coaches to go out and change the world with a group coaching program. And speaking of celebrating, I'd like to celebrate that you're all here. Thank you for taking a precious hour of yours to be with us. And I would like this to be an interactive conversation so that you get your needs met and questions answered at the end. My intention for the next hour is to pack it with content and get the creative juices flowing on what you're already doing, perhaps, that could turn into a group coaching program, or to create a brand new thing to support your clients with group coaching. I have been facilitating coaching groups and leading coaching groups for the last 3 years, including business mastermind groups and coaching circles and women's circles. I am in love with the energy and the transformation that comes with a great bonded group. It does have to be great and bonded, but the energy that happens is like nothing I've experienced in one-on-one coaching. It's like a wedding where you plan the wedding in advance and you hope for the best, and then this thing happens and it's completely out of your, well, not completely, but it's a lot out of your control. And amazing things happen when you get the right people in the room together. Just as an overview for what we're going to cover today, a little bit more about my background and why I believe you should add group coaching to your coaching program, the 5 steps to success when you do start a group coaching program, and a little bit about my program, Celebrate You, and its evolution, and then an invitation at the end for those that are looking to start group coaching right away and you don't want to spend the time on creating content around it. I have a program to make you a Celebrate You facilitator and get you started in the next 4 weeks. The only thing you need to do is go out there and get the clients. I think I'll just dive right in. My story is an ordinary story, and it's one that a lot of my clients relate to. It's a story about losing myself and my dreams for a little bit. As Stefan said, I was a CPA and a successful business expert and consultant for a number of years. And then I became a mom. And I was no longer the expert. In fact, I was the opposite of expert. I was struggling. I was sleep deprived. I was not coherent a lot of the time. And in addition to the shock that motherhood was, my first baby was born deaf. And so I was in constant research mode, trying to find the right way to support her and to turn her into, all that she could be. My second baby was also born deaf. Same thing. He had 2 surgeries in the first 2 years, and I was either at appointments or, in the middle of a pile of diapers for a couple of years. Third baby comes along and he can hear, and it doesn't matter even that he can hear because I'm so overwhelmed with 3 babies. So my life was a blur for a while, and as life continued, babies got older, and I had a little bit of time to remember who I was and to do things that mattered to me. And what I found was the things that used to matter didn't matter anymore. It was fascinating. I needed to reinvent myself. I was now a mom. I had different priorities. I really wanted to make a difference in the world in a way that I hadn't before kids. So I went through a process of self-discovery and reinvention, and I read a lot of books and took classes in Reiki and meditation, and I bet a lot of you can relate. I reinvented myself into Lisa Honnold 2.0, who was heart-centered and willing to be brave to change the world. And on that process, I remember one day really being hungry for the connection that I could have with other women who were ready to share their hearts and be authentic. And so I created a group that turned into Celebrate You, a group where we could share intentionally and authentically. Once I found the people, my tribe, once I found those people, I was hooked. I didn't want to let go of the energy that came from that group. And we decided to meet regularly and just continue the learning. And since then, I've become a Martha Beck certified life coach, and I am teaching coaches around the world how to facilitate groups, how to create their own group programs, how to become Celebrate You facilitators. And I'm using my business background plus my coaching background to help coaches create successful and profitable businesses. I tell you this story to demonstrate that a lot of times we as coaches, we already are doing in our personal lives what our clients need us to do professionally. I started Celebrate You because I felt this need inside me. And over time, it's morphed, it's evolved into a way to support a lot of women on their journey of rediscovery and reinvention that happens sometimes in our 30s, 40s, 50s. It happens to a lot of us. So it's a demonstration of how I have changed over time and how you probably have things in your life that you can turn into group coaching programs. I need to move this slide forward. There's me, my story. Okay, why now? Why now? 2 reasons, 2 main reasons. The first is tis the season, literally tis the season. The holidays are upon us. That leads us to so much busyness, so much chaos is happening in the next month between school performances and kids having time off and relatives coming to visit and shopping for the holidays and your family of origin and all that they bring. There's so much going on in the next month. And as people kind of recover from that, they're looking for support, for ways to do it differently next time. They're looking for healing a lot of times because something didn't go as they planned. So that's the first reason. Second reason, end of the year assessments. Businesses are all about finishing the year strong. Financial statements are put together at the end of the year. Personal performance a lot of time is evaluated at the end of the year. There's a lot of reasons that the end of the year is significant in business as well. New Year's resolutions and self-improvement goals, they kind of go hand in hand. when I think about why now, a lot of our clients set New Year's resolutions and they don't know that they're setting themselves up for failure when they set these giant goals like, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in the next 5 months, or any of the resolutions that might happen January 1st. In 6 weeks, they're going to be hard on themselves. They're going to wonder why they didn't accomplish their goal, where it went, and they're going to be embarrassed to even say they had a New Year's resolution. So it's important to think now about how we can support them in meaningful New Year's resolutions, which I don't even like that term. I like the term intention. We're going to set an intention for how we want to show up in the world. And from that, our goals happen. So the first is the season. The second reason I think why now is perfect is technology. Technology is easier than ever to learn. It's inexpensive. And there's methods for everyone, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. You can get on video calls. You can do audio recordings, meditation. You can create online courses. You can have a Facebook group that you pop into every day for inspiration and support. There's so many ways to use technology in a way that feels supportive for our clients. That's my reasons for why now. Stefan, maybe you can add to this for a minute. Does Noomii get more client referrals in January? Is there an uptick around the holidays or right after?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. And it's a big percentage?
We get a pretty big spike. And if you look at has anybody ever looked at Google Trends? If you care to check it out, if you look at Google Trends over the last, you can, basically what Google Trends does is that you can pick a topic or a keyword and then look at how often it is searched. So something like, let's say, the Oscars, right? It's an annual event. There's going to be this big spike when the Oscars is, and then the rest of the year, it's going to be a lot smaller volume of searches. And so you can look at things and how they've trended over time, like something like inbound marketing, for example. It didn't even exist 10 years ago and been slowly going up and up and up. People are searching that more and more and more. Well, if you look at life coaching, it peaks in January and then it goes down to December, and then it goes, and then it goes down, and like this is repeated every year for the last 10 years. So January is always the peak and December is the low point, and then it goes up and then goes back down.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yep.
That's what I figured. So here we are again. This is the perfect time to be setting up for success in 2018. Next month is when everyone's going to be looking for that thing that's going to help them succeed in their goals. We can be that thing if we create a program now and intentionally get it out into the world so we can be supportive. Why group coaching versus individual coaching? There are so many reasons why clients benefit from group coaching, and I will name a few. The first is it's a taster to one-on-one coaching. It's a gateway into the sense that I can self-discover, I can create my life. My thoughts don't have to be my reality. I'm going to take a sip of water. My thoughts are not reality necessarily. I have a situation, my thoughts around them can be changed to be more supportive thoughts. So it's a nice way to do that. They get to hear topics they care about in a group situation that's friendly and easy. There's not the same sense of, oh my gosh, I'm going to share my life story with one person and this is a little scary. A lot of times it's a more friendly and easy place to share. It feels safe. It's affordable. Stefan alluded to that. It's more affordable to have a group coaching program from the client perspective than to hire a coach one-on-one. There is a sense of deep connection that comes from a well-run group, whether it's a business mastermind or a self-discovery group. I want to talk for a minute about Brené Brown's latest book, Braving the Wilderness. She has fascinating research in that book about loneliness. and how lonely, she specifically talked about Americans are. In 1980, Americans said 20% of us were lonely. Today, it's over 40% that self-report as lonely. It's gone up so much, even though we have such great technology and we feel like we're so connected, because every 5 minutes we're getting a text from somewhere around the world. That is not connection, my friend. That's not what we're looking for. Loneliness is a sign, just like hunger is a sign when our bodies need fuel, and thirst is a sign when our bodies need hydration. Loneliness is a sign that we need connection. We are social creatures, and group coaching can help support people in their connection needs. A lot of us don't see people face to face, or even in a tight group that's a Zoom circle. We don't do that every day. This is a way to support those people. It feels like authentic self-care to clients. Sometimes clients don't take great care of themselves, and this is one tiny step they can schedule every week, every month, however often you're offering this group coaching. They feel like they've done it, and they're creating a life that's filled with self-care. The last thing is accountability. We are more likely to do what we say we're going to do when we tell other people. And we're even more likely to do what we say we're going to do when we tell almost strangers or acquaintances versus our loved ones, which I find fascinating. When we take a pledge or we commit to a mastermind group, we know they're going to ask next time, and we really want to accomplish things and have the next goal out in front of us. If we come home and our best friend hears that we didn't do what we said we were going to do, well, they still love us. So this accountability piece in a group setting situation is key. Clients benefit from pledging to a group that they don't know super well when they start on what their intentions and goals are. Slide. And how do we benefit as coaches? How do we benefit? One of the keys is that we can become experts in our topics or in our little niche that we set. That expert status leads to more opportunity and bigger and brighter things for us and our business. We start getting calls to do guest blogs or podcasts or however we want to promote and market with other people. We start getting success there. So group status is one thing. Growth in our client base, as we add a group of 5 or 10 or 20 people, those people can turn into one-on-one clients. And referrals certainly will come from these people as they get success with your program. They're going to tell the world about it, and they're going to be so excited for you and what you offer. Here comes the CPA in me. You've got predictable revenue streams. If you have a coaching group that's a 3-month group and you have membership where they pay every month, you now know at least a portion of your monthly income is going to be consistent for the next 3 months. And that's huge. As we're trying to budget and plan and see how the year is going to go, the more predictable we can be, the better we feel, the more we can put ourselves out there. And the last thing is profitability. We can actually charge more money for a well-run group than what we get individually for a one-on-one client.
I think you need to say a little bit more about that. I think you charge more per hour. So for every hour you put in, you could conceivably make, say, $500 an hour versus one-on-one coaching where you might be charged $250 an hour or something. So
exactly.
It's quite possible that you're making more per hour.
More per hour.
Because if one person's paying you $200 an hour and you got 10 people paying you $20 an hour for group coaching, now you're making the same amount of money, right? So instead of charging $20, you could charge $30 to 10 people, and now you're making $300 an hour. So that's, I think, what you mean by it being potentially more profitable.
Exactly. Yes. Thanks for clarifying. Yes, and that requires that you really think through everything that you're offering to the group and make sure that you have pricing really pinpointed down to the penny for what you need to charge and what your costs are. If you're offering one-on-one coaching inside the group coaching program, you've got to have that and really understand what the costs are so that you are making more money. Otherwise, it's really not worth your time.
Unless it's a lost leader, I suppose, and gets one-on-one coaching clients from it.
Yes, good point. So here's a whole other page on coach benefits. This is an easy introduction into one-on-one coaching relationships. This is why group coaching is approachable. No one feels bad when you say, oh my gosh, you'd be great for my group coaching program. You are the exact person I want to see in that program. Versus if you say, wow, you really need coaching. Sometimes that doesn't go over well. And of course we would never say that, but that's the feeling that people get sometimes when you mention, hey, I'm a life coach and I'd really love to talk to you more about that. And they think, oh no, what did I do? So that's not what we want. There is an introvert advantage. I'm speaking as an introvert. There's an introvert advantage because introverts are known for being thoughtful and sitting back and observing a situation. And in a group situation, that really comes in handy as you're watching group dynamics, you're watching who's talking, who's not talking. There's a lot to observe. And as you're observing, there's always someone who can fill in that space and who has something to say while you're finding the next right words. It's funny, I used to worry about having all the words all at once or remembering that resource or what book was I just reading where that was in there. And it has never been an issue because in a group setting, there are 4 or 10 or 15 other people that are dying to jump in and say something. And then I got to get the reins back. So that's the bigger problem in a lot of groups is just how to have them come back from side conversations. Another benefit that groups offer is it gives you the chance to sell other things like retreats and workshops. You've got a group of people who love what you do. They love your topics. They love your unique skill set. And who better to offer more things to? They are your best advertisers. They will bring their sister, their friend, their loved ones to your future events. I call these add-on services. They come up through the year for me. I don't have them all planned in advance, but they have been a big part of how I run my business. And then as coaches, group coaching gives us the ability to keep learning and growing and practicing. There are always new books to read and new information to impart, new topics to talk about with coaching clients that are perfect for group coaching. Let me pause. Are there any questions so far? We're going to dive into specifics here in a few minutes, but are there any questions so far?
If you want to unmute your line, or you can type it into the chat box and have a question if you have a question. Am I correct that a group coaching experience is, so this is from Donna, am I correct that a group coaching experience would be on a common topic?
Yes, that's how I run group coach programs, is with a topic or with clients that are in a similar situation. I say that my Celebrate You program, the only thing everyone has in common is that they're women. They're women who want to rediscover or reinvent themselves. That's what they have in common. My mastermind groups for businesses, I divide them by how long they've been in business or how big they are, so that you don't have a person who's been in business 10 years with one who's just starting up and doesn't really have the same bandwidth that someone who's more experienced has. So yes, usually there's a topic that they want to learn.
Kathleen has a question. I'm curious how you communicate or promote your group coaching sessions.
Oh, good question. So, every way I can think of, honestly. We'll get into more later. I have something called teasers that I like to put out there often to give little information. We've all heard of freebies on websites, and I have those. Right now, I have something related to the word of the year, which I love to talk about this time of year as people are setting intentions or setting resolutions for the year. So I'll sprinkle every conversation I can think of with, hey, have you chosen a word of the year? Do you choose a word of the year? Have you ever chosen a word of the year? And we start talking about why it's significant to me and my family and what I've gained from it over the time. That's one of the main things I do, is create things that I give away for free or things that I can tease in conversation. I have created meetup groups and Facebook Live events and, what else? Oh gosh, all kinds of things. Stefan, I'm trying to think what else.
Have you explicitly asked former members or existing members for referrals?
Oh yes. At first, my first year was all friends and family in one of my Celebrate You groups. And I learned quickly that there were some downsides to that, because the people that were there didn't necessarily want to change or grow. They might be there because they liked me and not because they wanted to change. So I've changed over the years how and who I invite. I invite everyone to my teasers, my introductory workshops. And then from there, there's an application process that I'll talk about later.
Okay. I have another question. Well, there's a couple more questions. Michaela is asking, do you group coach remotely and in person?
I am now training remotely, and I will be starting Celebrate You groups remotely this next year. I haven't yet. My Facilitators group is remote through Zoom video, and then there's a teaching platform that I use too. Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit of both, but primarily in person so far.
Yep.
Jamie is asking, do you ask questions to the group and then ask for comments? Curious how it doesn't evolve into a one-on-one session with an audience. Did you mean doesn't or does? Can I just unmute you, Jamie, and maybe you can ask the question? There's two questions there. Okay.
Sure. Not a problem. Hello, it's Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
I was mostly just curious about the format. That I know sometimes, when we get involved in certain things, such as this webinar, some of us just want to listen and take the information in, and some of us are a little bit more outgoing and gregarious with our speech. So how do you control it so it just doesn't become a conversation between you and another person with everyone else in the session listening? Mm-hmm. Or is that acceptable?
Great question, Jamie. I don't think it's acceptable to monopolize the group time. And what I have done is create a format where I actually use a timer, which seems kind of mean, but it makes people be succinct and get to the point. So I'm asking my women the day before, the week before, to come up with what they want to talk about. And my Celebrate You group, for instance, it has 3 parts. It has a celebration part where we come and we celebrate what's happened in the last month. We meet monthly. So what's changed, what's happening in the last month? We're celebrating. We each have 2 minutes to put it out there. That's it. Because the whole meeting is 2 hours. And if I let someone gush on and on for 20 minutes, other people don't feel like it's fair, and we've then lost a lot of time that we can use in topics. So the first thing is celebration, and the second thing is the topic, which takes 20 to 30 minutes with some conversation in there. And that I don't time or monitor really at all, other than I don't want it to last more than 30 minutes, because then we lose the back end. And the third piece of the Celebrate You format is a time to brainstorm or crowdsource. Everyone has written down a problem. They have 1 minute to say what their problem is that they'd like help with a solution on. It might be a parenting issue. It might be I have too much stuff in my house. I feel so cluttered. It might be anything. So in that third segment, they have 1 minute to say what their problem is. Members are writing solutions for 2 minutes, and then each member gets a pile of cards on what solutions are, and we go through those. And anyway, yes, I use a timer specifically so that people feel heard. And if I see someone that's not participating, I'll ask them if they want to or if they're being quiet on purpose. I want everyone to join in that group dynamic so that it's a vibrant place for everyone and they want to come back.
Okay, so we still got a couple more questions. So the next one is, do you recommend doing things like Google ads or Facebook ads? I think this is relating to and pertaining to the previous question around promotion of your group coaching program. So have you any experience with that?
No.
Okay.
My programs have been full so far. With expanding out to virtual this year, we'll see what happens. We'll see if I go that route or not. I haven't so far.
I would say having quite a bit of experience with Google ads, not so much with Facebook ads, but the principles are the same.
Mm-hmm.
You got to try it out. And advertising on those mediums, on any medium, there's LinkedIn, there's Bing, etc., is you need to try it out and see if it works for you. And all of these platforms give you a lot of opportunity for really testing and segmenting your population. Their value add is being able to find people with very specific criteria. And so, you can maybe target people who just lost their job and so therefore change their LinkedIn status from employed to unemployed or something like that. Or maybe they've done that on Facebook. It sort of depends on who you're trying to target. And then it's a matter of coming up with a message that will have them click on the ad.
Exactly.
And then furthermore, the next step is for you to be able to then enroll them into some sort of paying client engagement. So you need to figure out what the next steps are going to be. You can't just have an ad that says, buy my coaching for $199 an hour. No one's going to click on that and buy. But if you have an introductory free webinar or maybe a downloadable PDF or something, you give them value, you demonstrate value, make them trust you, and then have them sign up thereafter. I think that's a potential winning combination. So you just need to try it out. And sometimes you're going to lose some money on it. It's just a fact. But how else are you going to know if it's going to work for you?
Yes.
Okay. Lisa has a question. So how much would you say this is group coaching versus group training, where you have a lesson that you're imparting for all the women and then getting feedback and conversation with a coach approach? So that was from Lisa Sansom.
That's a good question. How much is self-discovery and training versus actual coaching? I don't know how to quantify that. It all feels really related. You're right, we don't go deep the way that one-on-one clients get really deep answers in 1 hour of conversation. Included in my Celebrate You is an hour of personal coaching so that we get to know each other. I think I want to table the rest of the questions until the end because I'm going to talk about a few of these things.
Oh, okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, and we do have like 3 or 4 more questions. So
okay.
Yeah, let's proceed, and then if you don't answer the questions, we'll treat or deal with them later.
Perfect. That sounds great.
Yeah. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, I'm going to move forward. Why you? Why are you the perfect person to offer a group coaching program? You've got a unique background. You've got training and expertise. You're a coach. Somehow you got certified, or you've had life experience to become a coach. There's topics that you're passionate about that you're already teaching each of your clients about one-on-one. And maybe you could create a group coaching program that they would all join anyway, and you could say at one time instead of 17. So there's topics that you're probably teaching all of your clients already. For me, it's Byron Katie work. It's things that Martha Beck work. It's things all of my clients need to know as groundwork that now I can tell a bunch at once. Why you? You get to expand your reach. You get to increase your business. These are all great reasons why it's time for you to start. Okay, this is the meat of the presentation. There are 5 steps to successful group coaching models. The first one is to know your client. We hear this a lot as coaches. You need to find a niche. You need to speak specifically in the language that your client speaks in. Just like Stefan was talking about, when you advertise, if you're not using words that almost punch your client in the gut and say, I'm talking to you, then it's hard to get their attention. There's so much noise out there. We've got to use client language so that they find us and say, oh, she really relates. Oh, he really gets it. He's been there before. The client avatar is super important so that we don't sound generic and vanilla. Spend some time thinking through the clients that you've enjoyed working with. What did you talk about? What did you have in common? How was a previous version of you just like them? And what did you do to become who you are? You had a struggle, you found a solution. Help them do the same in a group situation. Know yourself. What are your unique strengths, and how has your background prepared you for this program? How did you get through the challenges that you've had in your life? Tell the hero's journey story. You had this situation, you didn't know how to overcome it. Finally, you did. It's important to define the group's purpose and intention. For Celebrate You, the purpose of the group is to be a safe space to be authentic and discover or reinvent who you are today versus who you used to be, which doesn't seem to fit anymore. So what's your group's purpose? Who is this group for, and how are they coming to you at the beginning of the program? What are you promising you're going to do for them by the end of the program? Topics really draw in my members. What books do you keep coming back to as a coach? What do you keep explaining over and over again? Put those topics down on paper. When you write down 5 to 10 of them, you're going to find that you've got a program right there in front of you. You've got things that you're passionate about. You can create a program based on those. And then format. We were talking about this a minute ago. Celebrate You has 3 main parts, and I do use a timer because that keeps the meeting to 2 hours. It keeps me making money because I'm not there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, and it keeps everyone knowing that they're valuable, and I want to hear what they have to say. When you look at your ideal client, is she a busy executive where she just dreads another hour in the car to get to another meeting? In that case, you might want to use a Zoom video or some sort of video platform. If, on the other hand, she's a mom who's a stay-at-home mom and doesn't see another adult all day long, she might really want to get out of the house. She might want it weekly or even daily. So think about that as you're creating your program. What do your clients really want from it? Is it face-to-face? Is it video? Is it email support every day? What can you do for them that feels authentic and like something they need? Then just a little bit on marketing, some success tips that I have to share. The first one is get excited and let your personality shine. When people see the real you, they're attracted, the right people are attracted, and you'll pull them in with your energy and your excitement about this program. Oh my gosh, I'm creating this amazing program. It's for women just like you. Here's what I'm doing. That draws people in. We talked about this a few minutes ago. Create teasers, little workshops, little 30-minute events, little Facebook Lives. Invite everyone. And my tip is don't edit. Invite everyone in your email list. Invite everyone in your family, all your friends. You never know who's going to say yes. This is the fascinating part is when I was first starting, I heard this voice in my head that said, oh, don't invite her. She's already so successful. She's already, she's got her stuff together. She's not going to need this program. She's going to think it's silly. Don't invite her. And I invited those people anyway. And I was amazed by their response. Oh my gosh, I've been looking for a program like this. Oh my gosh, I really need a safe space like this. My church isn't doing it for me, or my family members, they're not able to do this. And the support that I thought they had front and center wasn't what they saw in Celebrate You. So that's a little side note. Invite everyone and don't edit that list. Let everyone come to the freebie. And then after that, I advise to screen people with an application, just so that people who have applied know what they're getting into. They know that this is a commitment for the term of the group. They know that this isn't individual coaching, and they're going to get a group experience, not a one-on-one, personal experience. The other thing is the application helps me know if they would be better served by a therapist. If they have some deep-seated trauma or issues that they haven't worked through, I'm going to say, I don't think this group coaching is the right fit for you right now. I would love to stay in touch. And right now, what I'd like to do is refer you to someone else. So ethically and just in my business's best interest too, I want to know what they're getting into, and I want it to be the right fit for them. The other part of that is, from a business perspective, I don't want to give any refunds. And the more that they know up front about what the program is, and the more they've had a chance to share why it's good for them, the less failed expectations, or the less explaining I have to do on the back end. The last success tip is to offer some one-on-one coaching as part of the group membership. It helps me to know who's in the group early on. I also offer it early. So if it's a year-long program, I'll do the individual coaching in January, so that I get to know the members up front, and they know my style. That's the other piece of this. And then I can frame the future topics around what I know they're struggling with. So it's a way for me to get to know them early on, so that the rest of the topics really resonate. Let me turn the page here. A little bit about my program, Celebrate You, and how it's evolved. As Stefan said, it's been going for 3 years. It's about to start the 4th year. I started with local friends and free. And from there, I started adding topics and a formal format and structure. And it evolved into a 2-hour meeting with a timer involved and support in various parts of the meeting. I asked for a commitment from all members to show up every time, unless something happened. But really, the group dynamic really changes if just one person isn't there. So they need to know that they're important, and that the expectation is that they show up. I added a workbook, so that I started adding a bunch of pieces of paper, and here's your handout this month, and here's what we're looking at this month. I'd like you to go fill it out. Well, there's all these pieces of paper, and I decided to make a full color workbook to hold all of the information. And it's turned into this 80-page journal that's full color and gorgeous, that members bring to each meeting. So it's another way for me to brand a physical product that they look at weekly, daily, and they get to show other people. I'm in the middle of trademarking the brand Celebrate You. I'm actually almost the very last step, because I feel strongly that this is my future, and I want to have exclusive right to use it. Over time, Celebrate You has become international. Now we have people signing up for the Celebrate You women's group that are international. I'm about to do the first Zoom. And on the other end of that, I'm training facilitators to become facilitators of Celebrate You, with written curriculum and a training. So that's happened in 3 years, and I look forward to all that's going to happen next year, which I don't even know what that is. I invite you, if you're interested in a ready-to-go, out-of-the-box solution to creating a group training program, to look at Celebrate You Facilitators. It's done for you. It begins next Wednesday. It's a 4-week program, and then you're off and running. You've got all the topics you need. You've got my graphics for every month. This is a year-long, Celebrate You is a year-long program, so you've got 12 months of graphics and topics and tools and no distractions. You don't have to think about putting together the content. You can work on filling the program and then get some practice. And over time, next year, you can create your own program based on this beginning. You can go off and make changes and tweaks and come up with your own program. Specifically, the facilitators get the license to lead Celebrate You groups next year, all the tools and topics, and there's 4 live group classes, and there's written content that's contained in Rizuku. There's video content, lots of accountability and support. We have a Facebook group that's pretty regular in posting celebrations, and it's only for facilitators, so it's a great place to say, hey, I just got a new member, I'm doing this, here's how my advertising's going, this is what's happening. In 2018, there will be quarterly sessions so that we continue to share topics and the latest in research and books and what's going on in the world that can support our members. There's also 1 hour of private business coaching where you get to pick my brain for an hour on, I can't seem to find the venue that I want. Where else can I look? What can I do? The workbooks that I mentioned earlier, those are available for your clients, for your members, and you'll have a 2-page insert or a customized advertisement basically for your business inside that workbook. No one else's clients will see that. Your clients get your 2-page ad exclusively. The next coach gets their 2-page ad. There's no, there's not a bunch of coaches sharing space. It's just your book. So that's the facilitator training. For more information, my website is celebrateyouacademy.com. And the group coaching part of that is celebrateyouacademy.com/group-coach. Then my challenge for you is to take a risk. What one thing can you do today to start your group coaching program? Think about that for a minute. And my philosophy is that every day I challenge myself to be brave and take a risk somehow. Today I'm asking you to join me in being brave and starting your group coaching program.
Can you just go to the previous slide? I'm going to type the links into the chat so everybody can click on them because, of course, they're not clickable while they think about your question.
I'm going to go forward. There we go. Yes. So now it is officially Q&A, question and answer time. I'd love to have those questions come in.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a few. I'm just going to type these URLs in so people can click on them.
All right.
Celebrate You Academy. Let me know if I typed them in wrong. CelebrateYouAcademy.com/group coach. Facebook, Celebrate You Academy. I think I got it right. Okay. So maybe we'll go back to the questions that were from earlier.
Perfect.
Oh, there's a lot here. Oh, here's a quick one. How many people do you typically have in a group? From Jeff Schuster.
Hi, Jeff. I cap my groups at 6 people for Celebrate You, also for the Business Mastermind between 6 and 8, because it is a contained 2-hour time. I really want people to leave with some personalized attention and that deep connection. I know there's other coaches that have programs that are 20 people, 50 people. The energy that I like is a smaller, really intimate group that makes a lot of progress each time.
Okay. Terry Hunter is asking, how long do the programs run?
Terry, I have different programs. The business coaching program is a 3-month mastermind. And then the Celebrate You program goes on for a whole year. And it meets once a month for 2 hours. The beginning session in January is actually a longer session because that's the time where we celebrate the new year and we learn lessons about the last year. There's a lot of journaling that happens that first month in what were the life lessons of 2017 and what do we want to bring forward into 2018? What intentions do we have for the new year? And that all boils down at the end to what's our word of the year. And that's actually where Celebrate You continues each month's discussion. When we come in February after meeting in January and bonding together, come in February, that's the first thing we do. I'm celebrating my word. Say my word is boundaries. I'm celebrating boundaries because this month I said no twice, or I'm celebrating health because I went on a walk a couple of times each week and I hadn't done that before. So January's meeting is a little different, but the Celebrate You program is a year-long program.
Cassandra's got a question. How do you advertise if you have a small audience or list? I feel like I need to maybe have a little bit more information about that question, unless there's an obvious answer that pops into your mind, Lisa.
The obvious answer, without knowing the specifics, is talk your face off.
Good answer. Talk your face off. There you go. Crystal, can we get a copy of the presentation? I think she wants the slides. Do you mind sharing the slides, or for me to be able to share it with the attendees?
I'm happy to have you share them. Maybe they could go out the same time as the recording? Yep,
I'll do that. Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll put a blog post up with the recording and the slides. So there'll be a link to both, and then you can just go and check those out and download them at your leisure. Jeff Schuster is asking, where are you sending your teasers and invites? So when you were talking about teasers and invites, I think part of it was just conversations, talking your face off, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sprinkling it. I might have mentioned earlier, we've had roofers here this week. I'm telling them about it. I'm asking them if they have a word of the year because it's fun to talk about. So I sprinkle the teasers all about in conversation, just in my daily life, whether I'm at the bank or out at the grocery store. That's my main way to attract people that are already curious about what I'm doing.
So to kind of build on that question, I was wondering if you could add kind of how far in advance do you typically start marketing a group, or when you first set it up and you're really trying to build those 6 to 8 people?
Once I have the topics, I feel like I need to know the topics, the price, and where it will be about 2 months before. And then I start really heavily with the teasers and the conversations. I have a Facebook presence. It's small. I have an email list, and it's small. And so far, that hasn't stopped me. I've done joint ventures with some other coaches that have been really successful, and I've done some guest blogging. Actually, guest blogging has been one of my main ways to attract coaches. To attract members, it's been a lot of personal conversations, and then friends of friends of friends, as my reputation and the program's reputation grows.
Great. Thanks for the question. Ted had a question, which is, so in addition to the slides, he's interested in getting your application form. So you said you talk to people, you'll talk your face off, and then you have an application to see if they're the right fit. Someone's interested in seeing that. I suppose they could probably just go to your website or something. Do you mind sharing that application you have?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I can do that. Yeah, it's part of the facilitator training. When you have the training, then you get all of the pieces that you need to start including an Excel spreadsheet for the pricing model so that you don't forget anything, and all kinds of worksheets for your members and tracking members, and making sure you've got the checklist all filled out so that you haven't forgotten a key piece before your event starts.
Okay. I put you on the spot there a little bit. So if you want to retract that and keep that as part of your paid service, I'm okay with that, and respect that. Slide. I'm just reading through how often do you meet throughout the year? I think we answered that, didn't we? No? Your groups, how often do they meet?
It depends on which group. The Celebrate You group meets once a month for 2 hours. And then the masterminds meet either weekly for the new business owners, or every other week for more experienced people that don't need quite the same amount of love.
All right. So I think Crystal has a really good question. She asks, Crystal Blackwell, do you have to use Celebrate You if you decide to take part of the training, or can I use my own business trademark name? So I think she's looking to promote her own group coaching program. Does she have to use Celebrate You as the name? How's that work?
There's a great question. Crystal, there are a couple of options. One is to take the full-on training where you've got the topics all prepared for you, and that's the Celebrate You Facilitators. No, you don't have to use my name. It's funny. Yeah, that's a great question. So you would have access to the name if you wanted to use it, but you sure don't need to use it. You would have access to the workbook. You don't need to order any if you don't want to order any. The other thing that I have for you that might be a better fit is something called the Basic Package, which is for businesses, for coaches that already know what their topics are. They already know, they have a pretty good framework on what they want to do content-wise. They just need some experience. So they need an application. They need some experience around some of the member management tools and how to run a successful or a bonded group. And that's the program is called a Basic program on my website.
Chris Neska has a question, wants to know how much you charge for the Celebrate You program. So not the price for the training, the facilitator training, but just to be a member, to just participate in Celebrate You. How much do you charge for that program?
It's $900 to commit for the year. The thing that is not included in the $900 is the beginning. The January event is a separate retreat event. And there's a retreat mid-year that's also not included. So basically it's $900 for 10 months. And then the additional 2 months are paid for separately.
How much do you charge for those other 2 months?
The January retreat is $350. And I try to keep that one reasonable because I want a lot of people to come. And the midway through, I haven't priced it for next year yet. It's about the same. It's $300 or $350.
All right. So I think we're running close to the end of our time here. We've got about a minute and a half left. And I see a couple of people have had to go. And so if people are interested in participating and learning and becoming a Celebrate You facilitator, they can just click on either one of these links. Is that right? Create You Academy or Facebook.com Celebrate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So either one of those. And then what do they need to do?
It'll be obvious when you see the web page. There's 3 different selections. One of them is the Celebrate You Facilitator. Click that button. It'll take you right to the registration page. If you're interested in more of the basic model, click that button. And then there's a deluxe package that's all one-on-one business coaching for 6 hours. And if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, click the deluxe.
And if people want to just have any further questions or want to reach out to you for any reason, how can they do that? Do you have an email or phone number you'd want to share, or they can send stuff to us and I can forward it to you? What's your preference?
Oh, I'm happy to share my email. I'm sorry I didn't put it on there. I will. Let's see. Do you want to type it? Can I type it?
I can just type it into the chat. So I think it's Lisa at
CelebrateYouAcademy.com.
Yep.
Yes.
There you go. So a lot of thanks. So thank you, everybody, and appreciate everybody being here and spending your time with us today. Hope you got a lot of great value. I know I did. Lisa, I really appreciate your time and your insight, your wisdom. It's been awesome. A great webinar.
Thank you so much. Good to see all of you. And I hope to see you in the future.
You bet. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.